Hello, I'm Ederson Oliveira. I'll be presenting this video for DNNhero.com. In this week's video, I'll be talking about the sponsor of this week. I'll be talking about the user group meetings that will be happening during the course of the next few days. You're gonna also see a very good interview with mutual sellers, and then I will discuss the videos that I'll be posting over the course of this week. So to get started, I will be talking a little bit about Premium DNN. Premium DNN and ETN from Premium DNN, they basically give us a 75% discount on their hosting plans. So if you follow the links that you're going to be seeing in DNNhero.com website, in this video post, and on the site as well, you're going to be able to get a 75% discount in their hosting plans. Okay, so I hope that I'll be having Premium DNN as a fixed sponsor of our show. And again, if you follow the link, you're going to get 75% discount on their hosting services. Now, for the user group meetings that will be happening during the course of the next few days, we do have quite a few. We have DNN Boston on the 18th. We have Bay Area .NetNuke user group on the 19th. We have the European Network of DotNetNuke Professionals, a virtual meeting on the 20th. Still on the 20th, we have Chicago Area .NetNuke user group. We have on the 21st, Atlanta user group meeting. We have on the 24th, the European Network of DotNetNuke Professionals again, but this time it's a physical meeting. And on the 25th and the 26th, we have the Open Force Europe that will be hosted in Zeist in the Netherlands. And on the 27th of October, we do have our local user group meeting, the Toronto Area .NetNuke user group meeting. Now, you can follow, to get more information about those meetings, you can follow the link that I'll be posting below as well. Now, this time, in the next segment, I do have an interview with mutual sellers. We had some technical glitches there. We have some technical problems, but I think that you will enjoy. So check it out. In today's video, we have a very special guest. I'm gonna give a bit of his bio here. I hope that I'm gonna be able to cover it all. Basically, he is a book author. He has written Professional .NetNuke Module Programming in 2009. He is an active DNN community member for a number of years. He is part of the DotNetNuke core team. He is a public speaker in many different conferences and user group meetings. He is the CEO of Iowa Computer Gurus Inc. He's a blogger and he's a Microsoft C# MVP. Did I cover it all, Mitchell?
Yes, you did.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have mutual sellers. Woohoo! Okay. Mitchell.
Yes.
Hey, let's see if we can break the spell.
Is this better?
It is. It seems to be better. So let's just try to keep flowing the conversation and see how it goes. But we have to break the spell.
Okay.
Okay, so let's get started from the beginning, I guess. For the third time, tell me how you got started with .NetNuke.
I got started with DotNetNuke, originally working for a previous employer. We were using DotNetNuke to implement a custom reporting system. And once I started looking into DotNetNuke and how well it worked, the functionality that it provided, etc. Then I started talking with the community. I had ran into some problems, was trying to do things I didn't know how to do. And the community support was really what kind of lured me in. Everybody was very helpful, and I was really able to get going and see the benefit of it. And then I pretty much have stuck around ever since.
But when was that? I mean, was that 2002, 2003?
I would have been 2006, probably about mid-year 2006, I believe.
Okay, so you're saying that you're not an old timer in .NetNuke?
No, I came into .NetNuke. The first sites that I was working with were DNN 335, I think would have been the version number.
Got it.
And then I jumped right to DNN 4 pretty much right after I got started. So, you know, somewhat of a late comer for some. And ever since then, I've probably worked with more installations of DNN than I care to admit. You know, really got in there, got behind the product and the community, and have been there ever since.
Perfect, bro. Okay, but tell me how the book writing thing show up. I mean, how did this came up to your life, to you?
The book writing thing is actually probably one of the more interesting stories. You know, getting started with DotNetNuke, I had ran into problems and I didn't know how to do things. I'd sent an email off to Rox Press because I knew that there would be a market for a book that was dedicated to developers. I had no intentions of writing the book at all. I just wanted to put it out there that, hey, this would be something, you know, I think this could be a benefit. There's some, you know, good content that you could build on. And about 4 or 5 weeks later, there was some conversation between Rox Press and somebody. I don't know who it was. But I got an email back that said, we liked the idea. There's a book in progress, but it's gotten a little bit off track. And we've been told you'd be a good person to write the book. And there it was. That's how I got started with book writing. It was not, I knew nothing, you know, I had never, you know, I'd blogged and that kind of thing beforehand, but I had never actually written, you know, anything of that size. And then once that started, you know, it's kind of taken off from there a little bit, because in addition to that book, I've been doing tech editing and then co-author on another book. But the initial start was just kind of a happen chance email off to somebody saying, hey, it would be good if this existed, and lo and behold, I ended up creating it.
Perfect. But how was the process of actually creating the book? I mean, how was that process itself?
That process was actually very interesting. There was a book that had been in process for like 18 months, and it was outdated, right? .NetNuke, we have so many changes so quickly. So what I ended up doing is I ended up kind of starting from scratch, and I was documenting, but I was writing the book right along the time that DNN 5X was just starting to come out. So if I remember correctly, right as I was finishing the book, DNN 500 came out. So then I'm quickly scrambling to validate everything that I have. The new DNN manifest came out. So I've been trying to incorporate all of that into the book. You know, for the most part, the book was really kind of building on all those things that I figured out and all those things that I saw when I was getting started. But then it really kind of became, well, people are going to be coming into DNN 5 and it's different. So let's try to get some of that documented. The entire book, it didn't take me nearly as much time as I would have expected, with one exception. Appendix D of the book, which is the documentation of the DNN 5X manifest at the time of publishing. I spent probably 30 hours writing those 40 pages because I'm digging through the code, trying to reverse engineer the processing of the manifest file so that I could document it. And I thought I had everything understood. I got it all. It was off to the publisher. It had gone through tech edit. It had gone through my secondary review. And I'm at Open Force talking with Charles Nurse. He tells me, well, actually, there's these other 4 features. I'm running back to my hotel room, sending an email off to Rox saying, can I make another change before the book publishes? Luckily, I was able to get the change in, and then, of course, it's been expanded on since the book published. But it was an interesting process. A lot more review than I would have expected. You know, there was another .NetNuke core team member that was actually reviewing the book and provided some good feedback and everything to keep it on track. But it was a really interesting process. The writing process, though, was fairly simple.
I see.
With the exception of the manifest.
And is there anything else lined up in terms of writing books and things like that for you, for your professional life?
For book writing right now, I don't necessarily have anything on the plate. The most recent thing was the Visual Studio 2010 6-in-1 book that I was the co-author and idea creator for that book. It was just published about a week and a half ago.
Perfect.
I'm tech editing a couple other books, but right now I'm not necessarily looking at writing anything from the ground up. Nobody's came to me with any good ideas yet, so if something comes up, it's definitely not out of the question, but it's not on my current to-do list.
Got it. Okay, so let me talk about another subject here. Let's talk about your company, because I think that you have found your company, IO Computer Gurus, in 2006, was it?
Yes.
Around. So, I suppose that you were working for somebody else before that, prior to that?
Mm-hmm.
And so how was that decision?
Well, and actually, it's kind of funny. IO Computer Gurus, as much as we do, and as many clients as we have, and as many things as we implement, is actually still to this day a side project. We have customers all over the world. We've done, gosh, by now I think we're at about 350 custom DotNetNuke modules.
Custom built for clients.
For clients,
okay.
Yes. As well as we have our free modules and those types of things that are out there. But really what it was, I was doing all this stuff at home, and I was doing things for friends, I was doing things for family, and it became, I needed some umbrella to put it under to be able to, go through and build it. And it's kind of spawned into a monster now. I have people that, do programming for me. I have a QA person that takes care of testing and that type of thing. My guess is over the course of the next, 12, 24 months that it will end up being the day job, although it's not quite there yet. We've had a lot of really good luck, good growth. The amazing thing is that it's all been by word of mouth and repeat customers. So
got it. And I'm guessing that the book also brings a lot of credibility, doesn't it?
The book helps, but honestly, the book from a module development perspective doesn't really necessarily do a lot. It sometimes gets people in the door, right? They're out looking for DotNetNuke module programming, and when they search on Google, they see my book, then they see my blog, then they see Iowa Computer Gurus. And so I do get some of that, So, that's kind of our other, the other way. One of the things, that we do with Iowa Computer Gurus is we believe in giving back to the community. Some of the things that I do there, and I guess you could call those advertising things. We have our .NETNuke free modules. I think we're up to 13 modules now that we have that are free. A couple of them are incredibly heavily used, with one of them having over 20,000 downloads.
Really?
Of that module, and it's being used for all kinds of things. The other thing that we do as well is user groups and everything that I've presented at. I've presented at the Orlando.NET user group, the Washington, D.C. .NET user group. Those types of things are all things that Iowa Computer Gurus covers all of the travel expenses and everything, so that, I like speaking to the community. I like sharing what I know. And really, every time I go out, I learn something from somebody in the community as well, something that they ran into, something that I haven't seen before. So that's kind of another thing that I do with the business is it allows me to kind of get out and get a little bit of exposure into the community and see what people are doing. So
perfect. So on those 4 years that you are involved with DotNetNuke, 2006, 2010, what can you tell me that was really a remarkable moment, something that you are really proud of? Was that the book? Was that something else? What was that around .NETNuke, of course?
There's a couple things. Unfortunately, one of them I can't actually disclose publicly.
Okay.
The most crowning achievement of all was actually probably a custom suite of modules on an incredibly high traffic DNN site that was actually just launched about 4.5 weeks ago. Anybody that goes and looks will find out that I did it. I'm just not at liberty to say that I did it.
I understand that.
Above and beyond that, we've had, there's been a number of of sites that I've launched or that I've been involved with that I would say are really achievements that I'm proud of. The book is probably right up there as well. More than anything, the book was not something I was anticipating doing. And really wasn't anticipating doing it this early in my career. So it was something that to me was definitely a big achievement.
Perfect. And now you are a DNN core team member. So my question about that is, what does it entail to be a DNN core team member? What is your role? What is your contribution from that aspect in DotNetNuke?
Right now, it's changed a little bit over the course of the last year. They reorganized the core team into individual focus groups, and I'm involved with the DotNetNuke, the reference team, and we're really the team that works on things around documentation, developer documentation. Ernst Peter has probably been the biggest leader out of the reference team in getting things going. But some of the things that we're working on, the core team members that are on the reference team, we're working on things like the developer API documentation, actually getting that documentation in the .NET Nuke core code, so that when developers are going and they're poking around, they're trying to use different methods within .NET Nuke, that they actually have documentation. What does user control create user? What do you need to do? What's the right way to create a user? And rather than having to go find a blog post that talks about it, we want to get that documentation into the code. So we're kind of leading the effort with some of the things like that. We've been involved with the wiki and helping, kind of guide some of the things around the wiki in terms of getting it set up, who should be able to provide access to it, those types of things. So, really we're kind of, the core team members are really there to kind of help on the community side of things. That's probably been a more recent change. I think, we also, as much as I try to anyway, submit as many bugs as I can, if for anything that I find. And more importantly, I'm really trying to go out there and make some changes and fix some things if I do see them in Community Edition and I know how to make the change. I want to get those added to the Gemini tickets so that they can get integrated into into future releases.
Perfect. Okay, now I have a question that is basically, what would you do differently, or what would be your suggestion, recommendation, if you would be in the driver's seat of .NET Core, of the core? I mean, is there anything that you would do differently? Anything that you can, I guess, tell us? Anything different?
I'm sure there is. I'm sure everybody would do something differently. I don't necessarily feel comfortable answering that question.
Okay, no problem at all. That already says a lot. Anyway, now I want to touch base on another point that came up 2 weeks ago, and it's about Stack Exchange. Now, I saw some posts, I saw some discussions, some comments. I don't want to drill down too much, but first thing that I want to ask you, and it's for my benefit and for somebody's benefit as well. First of all, what is Stack Exchange? What is that?
Okay. Stack Exchange is a effort to basically set up community sites, community Q&A, question and answer style sites. They have a specific platform that they've been using. The initial implementation of it was stackoverflow.com, which is a Q&A site for .NET developers. It's something that I saw when it was initially launched. I don't know exactly how long ago Stack Overflow was done. And it's an interesting format. It's, you post a question, people post replies, questions get upvoted, answers get upvoted or downvoted. Once you find some, if you get the answer to your question, you can accept that answer. So then when somebody later on is coming out and they're looking at it, they're going to be able to see, you know what, this is what in the end helped this person find what they were looking for. And they do it in a different fashion, right? That kind of functionality is available in other scenarios. To a certain extent, forum software, some various forum softwares will do it. right? .NETNuke forums has a resolved status on your thread, right? As soon as it's done, you can actually update your thread to be resolved. This just does it in a different manner. It's a more, to me, I find it very helpful. The reason, I did not know I was going to create such a ruckus with a Stack Exchange proposal. I was the one that actually made the .NETNuke Stack Exchange proposal. I'm the one that added it out on Area 51 and started, trying to get some support behind it. I had no clue that it was going to cause as much problems and questions and whatever else it is that's happened over the course of the last, 3 to 4 weeks. I really wished I would have been able to make it to Day of DNN because I think there must have been a very interesting conversation that I missed out on. But really, in the end, we all have a number of resources out there. Stack Exchange is just one way of being able to get an answer to your question, to be able to, do it. The questions come up, well, do I care about the reputation of other sites? I mean, the one thing is, I can't deny it. I have 22,000 reputation points on StackOverflow.com. I don't care that I have 22,000 reputation points. What I care about is an effective medium for me to get answers to my questions and for me to be able to contribute back to the development community. The reason why I proposed it for DNN is I thought it would be a good resource, right? We do have a lot of disparity, right? The DNN forums, there's a lot out there. If you look at Will Stroll's blog post with the plethora of comments that came back, right? There's a number of things. I think there is the ability for there to be another communication mechanism out there. And, I don't want to do away with the DNN forums. I'm not, in no way am I demeaning .NETNuke Corporation, .NETNuke as a product, the .NETNuke forum as a product. All I'm saying is, to me, it's another tool that could be used to help the community. And, because what I look at today, right, the number of forums that exist that are out there to answer DNN questions, there are thousands of them.
True.
I have a forum on my blog that gets a lot of traffic, and a lot of times I get people that have gone unanswered on the .NETNuke forums. They post to my forum and link me to the DNN forum.
I see.
I browse the DNN forums every single day, but, I miss things. I don't necessarily see the questions that I might be able to answer. It's just another mechanism, right? We have it. There's a lot of disparity today. There's a number of other sites. I mean, if you look, almost every module vendor has a forum.
Mm-hmm.
And not only are they answering questions about their modules, they're answering .NETNuke questions because it kind of goes hand in hand when you're supporting a .NETNuke module. You're going to end up, in a roundabout way, supporting .NETNuke, at least in some capacity. So, that's kind of how the whole thing came about. And Stack Exchange, it's just another product. Dylan Barber, in the last week and a half, set up DNNQA.com. Similar product, similar process to what the Stack Exchange sites are. It was just an idea. It wasn't intended to do what it did, but, once you get things out in the wild, everybody has an opinion. And in this case, there was a lot more difference in opinion than I thought.
Perfect. Well answered. Actually, to be honest with you, I didn't know that you were the original one that came forward with the idea, so I didn't really know that. So, okay, moving on. Now we are close to the end. What do you think is the future of .NETNuke? I mean, what do you see as the next evolution, as the next step? What do you see as a trend there for .NETNuke?
Well, .NETNuke, as we see it, it's continuing to move forward, and we've seen it. We've seen it with the 4X series. We've seen it with the 5X series. We're going to continue. I think we're going to continue to see it really step out there and provide that additional functionality. One of the things that I'm really glad to see is that there's been an improvement in performance again. DNN 5.5 started going back and addressing some of those things with the changing of the friendly URL provider to get human-friendly URLs. The big thing that I hope that we see is I hope that we see, we're going to see a continued development effort. Now that there's more developers there, I think one of the biggest things that we're going to see that's been different than what we've seen before, and I actually have blogged about this recently, we're seeing more iterations of DNN. We're seeing more releases than we've ever seen before. And we're seeing things come out in a way that we've never seen them come out before, right? We're getting new features and we're getting stabilization as we go through each individual release. Now, that becomes a little bit tricky, right? The community, I think, not everybody understands and has seen how that's going to change. But in the end, you really start to see that the velocity of DNN's enhancements has really progressed greatly from what it was 2 years ago. I mean, if you look at what was changed between, say, 4.4.1 and 4.7, and then you look at what changed over the course of 4.7 up into current versions. If you look back at all of the different downloads that are available on CodePlex and you look at those timestamps, the differences between versions and the differences over the same amount of time, the amount of functionality that we've seen is massively greater in terms of new functionality, improved functionality in the recent releases, and I think that's just going to continue to progress. At least I hope it does.
Very good, very good. So, Mitch, we're coming really to a conclusion, and I just want to give you the chance, the opportunity for you to plug your company, to plug your services. I mean, feel free, just blast it out.
Well, since you asked, Iowa Computer Gurus, we are we're a proven implementer in the DNN ecosystem. We provide a variety of services, custom module development, custom authentication providers, anything you need development-wise, we do. We do offer .NetNuke support services, content migration, administration, training on a limited basis. All of those things, we're available. Regular ASP.NET stuff as well, we do. So feel free to get with us. We do have a proven customer base. There's a lot of people in the DotNetNuke community that you can go out and ask. We can point you to modules that are ours, implementations that we've done. We've worked with companies and projects of all sizes and shapes. And the only thing I'll add to that is we do partner with other companies at times, and I can't say enough about the various people that are out there in the ecosystem. There are so many great vendors out there in the DNN ecosystem, and some of the people that we partner with and we work with on a regular basis, we wouldn't be able to do what we do today because, number one, I'm not a designer. I cannot create a DNN skin and make it look good if I wanted to. So that's why we work with other companies as well, and it's great to have the community that we have in DNN.
Perfect. Okay, so I will post the link to Mitchell's site, company site, Iowa Computer Gurus, below in the video post. And Mitchell, thank you very much. Thank you for working through the audio issues. Thank you for breaking the spell, and we got through it.
We definitely did. I don't know why it was so complicated, but that's technology.
Skype. That was Skype. MSN is working fine.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you very much, Mitchell. Have a good day.
Have a great evening.
You too. Bye-bye. So I hope that you liked the interview with Mitchell Sellers. Now, the next segment, I'll be talking about the videos that I'll be posting during this week. So on Monday, Monday, I'll be posting video 154, which is about performance settings, specifically about cache settings. Video 155, I'll be talking about how you can share content across multiple pages in DotNetNuke. On video 156, I'll be talking about a module called Sitemap from Watchers.net. Those guys, they have great modules, by the way, and they are free. They are available to everybody. So with this module, you're going to be able to build a sitemap into your DotNetNuke website. So that's video 156. Video 157, I'm going to be talking about something very simple, how you can remove the branding message of DotNetNuke from the source of your website. So if a person looks at the source of the site, they will no longer see that .NETNuke brand message at the top. So very simple, very straightforward. Video 158, the last one of the week, I'll be talking about catalog and more specifically about how you can restrict the countries for that you want to ship and that you want to have users registered as well. So again, how to restrict countries in catalog. So those are the videos of the week. If you want to get updates on when those videos are posted live, just follow me on Twitter, follow me on Facebook, and that's basically it for now. Again, just remind you of Premium DNN, 75% discount in their hosting service. Just click on the link below. That's it for now. See you next week. Thanks for watching and ciao.